If you're a man in society today, you face a lot of heartbrokenness or you fell short in some way, shape, or form, and you feel lost. You don't know what to do because it feels like your world has been crumbling down all around you. The walls are stacked against you, and everything isn't going right, and you feel like you're hopeless. You feel like there's no way out. Well, there's a great scripture that I want to read to you guys that I feel like will really resonate, will kind of be near and dear to your heart, if that makes sense. It's in Psalms 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And it goes on to say also in a couple other verses that even though we have troubles, the Lord will be able to hear us and he will deliver us from those troubles in life. Have you ever been troubled with something? Maybe it's a heartbreak, maybe it's injuries, maybe it's a setback, maybe it's the loss of a loved one, maybe you lost a job or something happened, maybe you're in a financial hole, maybe you're in a lot of debt. For me, it's heartbreaks. For me, it's injuries. For me, it's setbacks and being misled or having pursuits that didn't end up going the way I thought it was going to go. And I feel like that's such a crucial thing. But a lot of men today are facing some serious problems that if only we could just go through the phases of grief and not only go through them, but be able to finish that concept of facing the denial, the bargaining, the anger, the depression, and then finally accepting it, and then learning what we can do in that current moment. We can learn how to rebuild instead of continuing to live in the mediocrity of it all. Because no one wants to live in the slums of life. You want to be prosperous, you want to be wealthy, you want to have your health, you want to have all these good things. Of course, God wants you to have those things, but it doesn't come without work. And what better thing to do than put yourself to work, put yourself into a goal in life, a driven purpose that you want to fulfill. If you don't have anything going for you, then you're going to be stuck in this cycle, this never ending of why me victim mentality. Think about it. If you really want to change in life, look at the times that you've actually grown. It's because you were chasing after something. You were challenging yourself every time that something wasn't going right in your life. You focused on whether it was the gym or whether it was your job, getting your money up, whether it was self-improvement, dressing better, keeping up with your hygiene, doing things that actually provided value into your life to elevate you beyond the standard. And I'm not going to be superficial that you need materialistic things to feel better, but that is a small piece of the puzzle. And that includes fitness too. All these things in life that men are trying to achieve are a part of this giant puzzle, but it's only one piece in one single area. God is literally the puzzle master, putting together this masterpiece, this art that is going to be displayed in heaven the day that you go up and be like, look at this beautiful masterpiece. Look at the life that you created. Every single puzzle piece I gave you, you fulfilled. Or maybe you didn't fulfill it. But in this case, we want to fulfill it. So we take every single thing that we're trying to do in life and we just add it to the puzzle, one piece at a time. Because everyone tries to go from 0 to 100 in a matter of a day. It doesn't happen overnight. If you focus on building various portions of your life, you're going to see abundance. But if you try to go all in on one thing, you're leaving so much on the table. You want to be able to realize that you should be a jack of all trades. And I know a lot of people are saying, then they're not proficient in one. They're just kind of mediocre across the board. But it's not about the mediocrity, because you have to reframe that. I want to be able to have so many different skill sets that I can not only help people in various ways, but I can kind of relate if I've been in a certain situation or that I've fell short in one and I've learned from it and I can teach them how to apply it into their life. I mean, think about it, man. Do you think that going through a heartbreak is not beneficial for someone else that might be in a similar situation? Maybe you learned self-respect. Maybe you even knew what you were going to tolerate and not going to tolerate going into another relationship in the future. These things are a part of life. It's a part of the risk analysis. You're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to maybe even confess your feelings you're allowed, maybe even be a little bit vulnerable with a female or anybody in any, I guess, circumstance. And you'll find that sometimes those risks pay off and sometimes they don't. But if you look back, hindsight is always 20/20. Everything that you went through, even the bad times, the hard breakups, the times where you felt like this couldn't get any worse, you survived it, 100% of it, and you're still here. So why is this any different than what you're facing right now? Just because it's labeled different, just because there's a different person in front of you or a different scenario, doesn't mean that it's not going to work out. I want to also read one more verse in Genesis chapter, oh wait, this is not the one I did. I think it's chapter 50. So let's go all the way to the end. That's Exodus. Yes, here it is. So it's going to be chapter 50 of Genesis, verse 20. You intended harm to me, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. And then it goes on further in 21. So then don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children. So if God is saying this in literally the first book of the Bible, that even though you're going to go through some hard things in life, it's intended for good. That what you're experiencing right now is going to be a part of your testimony later on in life. If you really think about it, the hard stuff that you're going through has built you into a better version of yourself. Look back, man. For me, I was injured multiple times, whether it's a shoulder injury. I fell and partially tore my labrum and didn't get it fixed, but I was able to work through it. Whether it was like learning new recovery exercises, just focusing on mind-muscle connection in the gym, a little bit of help from the Lord for sure, because there were days that I cried. There were days that I thought it was the worst thing ever, along with a massive amount of other things that were going on in my life at the time. And I was still able to prevail. And maybe that's just a random scenario for you, but let's say you got into a car accident. I know this is very dramatic example, sheesh. But let's go even further, because there's plenty of stories out there of people that have survived these crazy experiences. Maybe they were in a car accident, they lost their limb, maybe they got cancer multiple times, and they beat it. It wasn't the fact that they got lucky. It was the fact that God was able to give them the strength to endure those difficult times, those hard times where all the cards were stacked against them. The doctors had already said, yeah, we're writing this guy off. I don't think he's got 6 months left to live. And that's crazy to see that even the people that are trying to take care of you are like, meh, on to the next one at that point. Good luck, bud. But you got to have that willingness and that drive to keep moving forward, even when everyone else around you says that it can't be done. So apply that to your life, because in any way, shape, or form, you're going to see the fruits of your labor. If you're willing to plow the fields in your life, if you're willing to plant the seeds, do the hard work, shed some blood, sweat, and some tears, you're going to be able to reap the harvest in the later seasons. Because it's just comparable to farmers, man. I mean, it's the farmer analogy. If you're willing to put in the time and wait patiently on the Lord and maintain what you're supposed to do, maintaining the discipline of life, providing, protecting, and stewarding the things that God has provided in your life, because a lot of us take stuff for granted, you'll be able to see such a difference come the next chapter of your life. We've all evolved. We've all changed. And I think that's a part of just general life. We're not meant to have an easy life. We're meant to go through certain tribulations, things that will test us. But it's the perseverance that we go through that builds our character, that adds more value and more strength to our life. because we are weak in the flesh. We are weak as a whole. We're creatures of habit. We always want to seek comfort and do things that are easy. But when you're willing to face adversity and do the thing that is hard in front of you, even though you're scared, even though you are fearful that it may not work out and that it may not be for you, and you still do it anyways, and you come out the other side smelling like roses, or that the outcome actually is more abundant than you ever could imagine, that's God doing in the work, because he instilled in you that strength. He instilled that desire to be a servant, to be the one that changed not only your life, but the people around you. Because your family and your community will be affected by the way that you come and stand out in life. Whether you're standing out like a bum, that's going to affect people around you. If you stand out and become the masculine man that you know you can be, then people start to emulate towards you. They gravitate towards you because they see that you're a man of precision. You have principles, standards, morals, whatever, fill in the blank with any concept. People want the best, so they gravitate towards the best. And hey, you don't want to be the smartest in the room, but you want to be surrounded by people that are going to push and challenge you towards being a better version of yourself. And for me, that's really similar to sports or weightlifting. There's a lot of people out there that will always be faster, smarter, bigger, stronger than you. But it's not about trying to be the best out of everybody. It's trying to be the best you can be. Because you are literally going to be the result of all the habits and the decisions that you make. Look at the past 90 days, what you've done and what you haven't done. That is correlated to this present day on where you're at in life, how you're feeling mentally, spiritually, physically. That is probably the case that you need to first address. So, if you're broken, if you feel like things couldn't get any worse, you're in the best place you could be. Rock bottom. Rock bottom is where the foundation is shattered into a million pieces. But that's when you can start to rebuild, because you're starting from scratch. You're starting from ground zero, where you can start building a stronger and fortified foundation, so that whatever you're trying to build in life, whether it's just a small house, a skyscraper, maybe even the biggest empire that you could ever imagine in your life, the foundation is going to be crucial. Are you going to build it on the things that are just going to give you temporary pleasure, or are you going to build it upon the thing that is going to withstand all the things of the world? That's God. And maybe you're not religious. Maybe you're not saved yet. I wasn't saved at one point too, but I know that the hope that I received through Christ and what he did on the cross and what he did by rising again, it's miraculous that I'm still given another day on this earth to provide some type of value to you or anybody else that's in my circle or that's interacting with me. Everyone has the ability to make a difference in life. Their testimony, their story, the things that they've gone through, it's going to change the way you operate, because you don't want to be average. You don't want to be succumbing to your life and all the things that didn't go right and just accepting what the world is doing for you. Life is not happening to you. It's happening for you. You have to have more awareness. Wipe your eyes. Have that clear vision. See that what is happening around you is actually going to benefit you. But you have to reach out and seize the opportunity. It's not going to be given to you. There are no free rides in life. My dad always used to say that. At a young age, I used to go down to work with him in the morning. He owned a deli for the past 33 years. It's crazy. And this man is a workhorse, working 60 plus hours a week. He put all three of my siblings through college. We're debt free. We don't have anything to do with debt when it comes to any college loans. And all credit to him and his strength that God was willing to give him all those resources. Because if he just said, I'm just going to work the bare minimum, we can just live comfortably, and then my kids will have to fend for themselves with college, he could have easily done that. But he rolled up his sleeves and he got himself to work. He put out all this energy and he was able to receive something back. It's the output. That's what it is, man. The Lord will only give you what you're willing to put work in towards. If you're going to do anything half-assed, if you will, I'm part of my French, then you're not going to reap the rewards. God wants 100% of your heart. He wants 100% of your work ethic. And if you're not willing to put all yourself into something, then you're not going to see the true fulfillment of what it could be. Just take a business, for example. If you only show up when you feel comfortable, when you wake up late and you do the bare minimum, maybe 2-3 hours of work, when you could probably work 8, maybe 10, or even 12 hours before productivity takes a giant crash in I guess, like I said, the productivity, then you're clearly going to see that what is happening in your life is a direct result of your lack of the ability, or your lack of your ability to follow through. And I feel like it's really crucial when it comes to being somebody that follows through, keeps their promises. Only will they see the actual fruits of their labor. You don't want to be someone that is just a talker. You want to be all about the action, if you will. You want to be able to say the things that you're going to do and then fulfill them. Because everyone, every single year on January 1st, they have these New Year's resolutions and they want to be the best version of themselves. And look, it's what, June 29th? We're about to be 6 months into 2026. So many people have given up. They have said that 2026 is a wash. 2027 is going to be my year. Is it going to be? Is it? Or maybe you could take the next 6 months right now and start actually applying yourself in life. Start seeking some uncomfort. Welcome the problems in your life and do the work. Find solutions to them. Stop looking for someone else to solve them. Stop looking for someone else to come save you. No one's going to be a handout. No one's going to be listening to your problems and be like, oh, it's okay, Johnny. It's okay. You're going to be all fine. Like, it blows my mind. Like, the victim mentality in this country and the fact that everybody wants somebody to listen to their sob story and acknowledge that, oh, they had it hard. There's people out there that have it so much worse than you and I. But what do? They get the work done anyways. There's people that are living in poverty and doing so much more than us. We have it great in this first world country. And they're still making it happen. They're still doing things. They're facing hardship even more than us. This is a luxury, especially, let's go back further into the past of our nation. They had 18-year-olds going to war, even kids that lied about their age to go serve in our military. Then we have kids today that can't even have a simple conversation with somebody because they're so locked into their phone or they're playing video games every day. We're lacking that discipline. We're lacking that will to go out and face adversity. Where's the courage? Where's the bravery? Where's the person that wants to be a role model or look up to a role model? We're in shambles in this country, and there's got to be a change. There's got to be a point when we look ourselves in the mirror and we don't accept the version that's looking back at us. We say that I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of staring back at something that I don't even know what it is. I didn't make this version of myself. I didn't say that this is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to be overweight. I want to look like I'm not masculine. I don't know. I can't even relate to that because I'm so far from it. And I know I'm not perfect. I have a lot more to go, but I will not accept mediocrity. And even though I've been broken at times, and I am broken right now, just like you, man, I might be going through something similar. I'm pursuing a new job adventure. I'm trying to make this business work, and I'm trying to pour more value in. And it's hard at times. The mental battles that I face every day, the spiritual warfare outside of this apartment, It is so hard to not quit or to not give in. But I'd rather face adversity. I'd rather be like Paul and die to my flesh every day, to pick up my cross and bear it like Christ. Because living for the world got me nowhere. And living for the world hasn't gotten you nowhere. You felt void. You felt empty. And you're broken. You're broken. You don't know what else is there in life. What else is there for me if none of these things of the world are fulfilling me? You have to fulfill yourself. You have to fulfill yourself for the Lord. Be a servant for your life. Be someone that stands for something. Are you truly living for yourself, or are you just existing? Are you going through the motions and expecting life to hand you something? Are you expecting that a girl is going to just walk into your life even though you're broke, you don't know how to manage your finances, you're 30 pounds overweight, and you live like a pig? No, nobody's going to want you. Same thing with your job. If you do half the workload that you're required to, and you show up late, you clock out early, you're probably not going to have that job for much longer. But flip it, maybe reframe it. What if you did a little bit more? What if you worked on yourself? What if you held some standards? What if you kept it clean? Or what if you prioritized your fitness and your nutrition? What if you started to build yourself beyond the exterior frame? What if you start to learn some new skill sets in your mind? What if you learned how to manage your finances better? What if you learned a new income skill? What if you started talking to women or just random people in the grocery store or out on the street every day? What if you challenge yourself to do something that you've never done before? And whether you fail or not, it's going to build you into a better version of yourself. So, are you going to do it? Or are you going to put it off another day? Because where has that gotten you? It's gotten you further from the true version of yourself that God has created you to be. So start walking in your purpose, brother, because the brokenness will always be there. But in order to have good times, hard men need to face the hardships of life. So pick up your lunch pail, pick up your work hat and all your tools. Or even if you're a soldier and you want that metaphor, pick up your shield and your sword and get ready for battle. Because it is a war every single day that man has to face. So are you going to wave the white flag, or are you going to be willing to fight until you can't anymore? That is the true concept that you need to face. I'm broken and I'm going to do it anyways, or I'm broken and I might as well just give up. If you found any value out of this video, give me a singular thumbs up in the comment section. All right, God bless.